The pounding in my skull was unbearable. I dragged myself out of bed, my mouth dry, my body heavy with regret. The scent of coffee drifted from the kitchen, promising some relief. I staggered in, rubbing my temples. "Morning," I mumbled, trying to sound casual. She didn't answer. My wife sat at the table, her hands folded neatly in front of her. A stack of papers lay between us, crisp against the polished wood. I frowned. "What's all this?" Her voice was flat, sharp. "Divorce papers." The words sliced through me. I laughed weakly, searching her face. "That's not funny." Her eyes stayed locked on mine, cold, unblinking. "I'm not joking." My breath caught. "Divorce? Why?" "Where we're expecting." My gaze dropped to her stomach, the faint swell visible beneath her robe. "We're supposed to be happy." She pushed the papers closer. "You were out all night. Again, I'm carrying your child while you drink, laugh, and stumble home reeking of strangers' perfume. I'm done." I gripped the back of the chair to steady myself. "It was just one night. The guys wanted to celebrate." Her voice cut me off. "Celebrate what? Abandoning me? Neglecting your family before it's even begun?" I sat down heavily, the room spinning. "Please, don't do this. Don't throw us away." Her lip trembled, but her eyes stayed hard. "I begged you to grow up. I told you what I needed: support, presence, loyalty. But you chose the bar over me, over us." I reached for her hand, but she pulled away. "It was stupid, I know. I got carried away, but it doesn't mean I don't love you." She laughed bitterly. "Love? Do you know what love looks like? Love doesn't crawl into bed at dawn, drunk, when his pregnant wife cries herself to sleep alone. Love doesn't gamble our future away for another round of shots." "I didn't gamble anything," I snapped, then caught myself, lowering my voice. I wanted one last night of freedom before everything changes." Her eyes flashed. "Freedom? You call fatherhood a prison?" "No." I slammed my fist on the table, then winced at her flinch. "No, that's not what I mean. I'm scared, all right. I don't know how to be a dad," I thought. "If I had one night to forget, maybe I'd feel ready." She shook her head slowly. "You'll never be ready if running away is your answer." Silence fell, broken only by the ticking clock on the wall. My chest burned, words choking me. "Sign them," she said finally, pushing the pen toward me. I stared at the papers, the black letters blurring. "You're serious? I'm serious." Her voice cracked, but she straightened her back. "I refuse to raise this child with a man who treats responsibility like a burden." Tears welled in my eyes. "Please, don't do this to us. Don't do this to me." She looked away. "You did this to yourself." I leaned forward desperately. "I'll change. I'll quit drinking. I'll be here every night. You've said those words before. But this time, I mean it." Her hand moved instinctively to her stomach. "I can't risk our baby's future on promises." The words shattered me more than the papers did. I buried my face in my hands. "I thought we were stronger than this." "So did I." She whispered, "But strength means nothing without trust." I lifted my head, searching her eyes for any flicker of softness. "Do you really want our child growing up without me?" She blinked, a single tear slipping down her cheek. "I want our child growing up safe, loved, not watching their father drink himself into a stranger." The knife twisted deeper. "So, that's it." She stood slowly, her chair scraping against the floor. "That's it. I tried to rise, but my legs wouldn't move. The papers stared back at me, each page screaming finality. Her footsteps echoed as she carried her coffee to the sink. She didn't look back. I whispered hoarsely, "I can change." But my voice drowned in the silence. At the doorway, she paused, one hand on the frame. "Maybe you can, but not with me." And then she was gone. The house felt cavernous, every wall pressing against me. I sat alone at the table, staring at the pen, the papers, the ghost of her presence lingering. In the air, the coffee grew cold. My tears burned hot, and somewhere inside me, the world I thought I knew collapsed, leaving nothing but emptiness. The papers sat untouched on the table, mocking me. The pen lay beside them, waiting. I stared until my eyes burned, but my hand wouldn't move. "Till death do us part," I whispered into the silence. The words felt foreign now, hollow. My mind reeled back her smile in white, her trembling hand in mine, promises we'd sworn before God and everyone we loved. Promises I'd shattered. My phone buzzed. I grabbed it like a lifeline. Ethan's name glowed on the screen. "Hey," I muttered. "You sound rough," he said cautiously. "She left me," I croaked. Divorce papers on the table. Just like that. There was a pause, then a sigh. "Man, I'm sorry." I squeezed the phone tighter. "Sorry, that's it. You were with me last night. You told me to relax, to have fun. Now she's gone. Ethan, she's carrying my kid and she's gone." His tone sharpened. "Don't put this on me. I didn't make you drink. I didn't make you stay out until sunrise." I pressed my palm to my forehead. I know. But God, I thought it was harmless. One night, one stupid night, you knew she hated it when you did that," he said quietly. "She needed you home." The sting of truth made my stomach twist. I ruined everything. He hesitated. "Look, maybe give her space. Don't push. Just figure yourself out before you try to fix things." I frowned at his voice, low, uneasy. "You sound like you know more than you're saying." "No, man," he said quickly. "I just don't want to see you spiral." But something in his nervous tone crawled under my skin. I swallowed it down. "Yay, fine." When I hung up, the silence pressed harder. I buried my face in my hands. The phone rang again, my parents' number flashing. My chest tightened. I almost let it go to voicemail, but guilt forced me to answer. "Son." My mother's voice was soft, worried. "Are you all right?" I woke up with this awful feeling. My throat closed. "I'm fine." "You don't sound fine," she pressed. Dad's voice joined in, steady and strong. "Talk to us." I glanced at the papers. My lips trembled. "I can't. Is it the baby?" Mum gasped. "No," I said quickly. "The baby's fine." "She's fine. It's me that's broken." A heavy pause filled the line. "Whatever it is, you're not alone," Dad said firmly. "You come here, we'll figure it out together." My chest ached. "Not yet. Please, not yet." "Promise you'll call if you need us," Mum whispered. "I promise," I lied, when the call ended. I slumped forward, clutching my hair. The weight in my chest wouldn't let up. I spoke to the empty room. I swore I'd protect her. I swore I'd never let her down. My voice cracked. And now I'm just a man sitting in a kitchen, staring at the ashes of vows he broke. The papers waited, patient, unyielding. I reached for the pen, my hand trembling, but I couldn't do it. I dropped it with a clatter and whispered, Not yet. Not like this. The clock ticked on, mocking the silence. Every second stretched the distance between who I was and who I had promised to be. I leaned back in the chair, whispering into the void. She said I did this to myself. Maybe she's right. Maybe I don't deserve her. But God help me. I don't know how to live without her. The papers stayed where they were. So did I broken vows, broken man, and the silence closing in. The walls in my house carried voices to isolate. That morning, I wasn't supposed to hear anything, but I did. Through the half-open kitchen window, her voice floated in from the garden. Yes, I'll see you tonight. He doesn't know yet. My stomach twisted. My wife's voice, soft, deliberate. Then silence, broken only by the sound of her quick footsteps back inside. She didn't know I was upstairs, frozen on the landing, every nerve burning. I waited until I heard the front door close. Then I whispered to the empty air, "Who were you talking to?" I dialed Ethan without thinking. "Hey," he answered, voice casual. "Busy?" I asked. "A little. What's up?" "You've seen her lately." My tone came out sharper than I meant. He paused. "Your wife?" "No. Why?" I clenched my jaw. "She's hiding something, talking to someone." "Won't say who." "Man, you're spiraling," he said too quickly. "Don't read into things." His words felt thin. "Funny," I muttered. "You sound nervous." He laughed, forced. "I always sound nervous. Relax." But I couldn't. My chest felt tight. Later that evening, I confronted her at the dinner table. She barely touched her food. "Who were you talking to this morning?" I asked. Her fork froze mid-air. "What?" "In the garden." "I heard you." Her eyes flicked down. "You're eavesdropping now." "Answer me," I pressed. She sighed, pushing her plate away. "It was a friend." "What friend? Does it matter?" "You lost the right to question me after last night." Slammed my fist lightly on the table. "Don't twist this. I know there's more." Her lips trembled, but her voice stayed steady. "You destroyed my trust. Now you want mine." The words sliced me open. "Still," I whispered, "is it Ethan?" Her head snapped up. "What?" "You heard me." For the first time, real panic flashed in her eyes. "That's insane. He's your best friend." "That's exactly why it makes sense." My voice cracked. "I've seen the way you look at him." She pushed back from the table. "You're paranoid. You drink. You disappear. And now you invent stories." I stood too, shaking. "Stories don't leave whispers in gardens." She froze, then walked away without another word. When the door to our bedroom slammed, the house echoed with the truth she wouldn't speak. I staggered to the couch, phone in hand. I stared at Ethan's name in my contacts until my thumb ached. Finally, I texted, "Meet me tomorrow." "No excuses," he replied almost instantly. "Fine." I dropped the phone, covering my face with my hands. Whispers, lies, and a storm building in my chest that I could no longer ignore. Asterisk, I stood outside Ethan's apartment, fists clenched, the night air colder than it should have been. My hand hovered over the door before I finally knocked, hard and fast. The door creaked open. Ethan blinked, startled. "Man, it's late." "What are you?" "Cut the act," I snapped. "We need to talk." He stepped aside reluctantly. "Fine, come in." The moment I crossed the threshold, the words flew out. "Are you sleeping with her?" He flinched. "What the hell are you talking about?" "Don't lie to me, Ethan." My voice shook, but I held his gaze. I've heard enough. I've seen enough. He ran a hand through his hair. You're drunk again, aren't you? I advanced, shoving his shoulder. Don't deflect. Just answer me. Stop, he barked. You're scaring me. Good, I spat. Because I swear, if you've touched her, he cut me off, shouting, I did. The world stopped. My ears rang. Say that again, I whispered. His chest rose and fell like a cornered animal. I did, I'm sorry. The words sliced me open. My knees nearly buckled. You bastard. He stepped back. It wasn't supposed to happen. We didn't plan it. Don't you dare make excuses. My throat burned. She's pregnant. Tell me it's not yours. Silence. His face crumpled. My vision blurred. Oh God, I'm sorry, he said again, voice cracking. It just happened. You were never there. She was lonely, I shut up. I roared, slamming my fist into the wall. Pain shot through my hand, but I didn't care. You were my brother, my best friend. And you, he staggered back, tears in his eyes. I know I betrayed you. I know I deserve whatever you want to do to me. My hands trembled so violently I could hardly breathe. You deserve worse than I can give. He whispered, I love her. The words made me lunge. I shoved him hard against the wall, my fist cocked. For a split second, I wanted nothing more than to break his face, to feel his blood on my hands. But I froze, chest heaving. My fist hovered inches from him. He stared at me, trembling. Do it. I won't stop you. I let out a broken scream and collapsed backward onto the couch, burying my face in my hands. Why? I choked. Why him? Why not just leave me? He sat across from me, shaking his head. She said she felt invisible. She said you were drowning in work, in drinking, in everything but her. Don't you dare blame me for this. I shot back, voice hoarse. I'm not, he said, wiping his face. I'm telling you what she told me. I never meant for it to go this far. I laughed bitterly through tears, far enough to put a child in her. He lowered his gaze. Yes, the room spun. My chest felt crushed under invisible weight. I stumbled out of his apartment without another word. When I got home, the lights were still on. She sat at the kitchen table, papers spread out, those same divorce papers. She looked up. You saw him. My voice broke. He told me everything. She didn't deny it. She didn't even flinch. Why? I whispered. She clasped her hands together. Because I was dying in this marriage. You weren't there for me. I was working for us, I croaked. I loved you. She shook her head. Love isn't enough. Not the way you gave it. My fists clenched at my sides. So you chose him. My best friend. Her eyes hardened. He saw me. He listened. He made me feel alive again. The words hit harder than any punch. And the baby? I asked. She didn't answer. That silence was louder than any confession. Tears blurred my vision. You were supposed to be my forever. We said vows. You promised me. Her voice softened, but it carried daggers. You were never enough. Those 4 words ended me. I staggered back, choking on air. She didn't move. She didn't apologize. She just looked at me like a stranger. I collapsed into the chair, across, from her head, in my hands, shoulders shaking. I wish I could hate you, I whispered, voice raw. But all I feel is empty. She said nothing. The silence was final, a coffin lowering into the ground. The truth had gutted me, left me hollow. And I knew, in that moment, Nothing would ever be the same again. I sat in the dark with another empty bottle beside me. My phone buzzed non-stop, but I ignored it until one call slipped through. "Son, it's your mother." Her voice trembled. "You haven't answered in days. What's happening to you?" "I'm fine," I lied, staring at the ceiling. "You don't sound fine. People are talking. They're saying things about her, about you. Let them talk." My throat felt raw. "It doesn't matter anymore." "It does matter," she pressed. "You're our son. We can't watch you destroy yourself." "I'm already destroyed," I muttered, cutting the call. Another message, pinged this time from a friend. "Heard the rumors. Is it true?" I threw the phone across the room. Later, Ethan's name lit up my screen. Rage boiled inside me. I picked up only to growl, "Don't ever call me again." "Listen," he started. I said don't. I shouted before slamming the phone down. The silence afterward was deafening. Days blurred together. I woke, drank, passed out. When my father finally showed up at my door, I barely recognized myself in the reflection of his glasses. "Open up," he demanded. I cracked the door. "What do you want?" He looked me up and down. "You look like hell." "Good," I said. "At least I match how I feel." He pushed past me, surveying the wreckage of bottles and unwashed plates. "This isn't living, it's rotting. Maybe that's all I deserve." "Stop," he snapped. "You think you're the first man betrayed. You think pain makes you unique. You're my son, and I won't bury you before your time." I sank onto the couch, whispering, "Sometimes I think it'd be easier if you did." He froze, eyes darkening. "Don't you dare talk like that again. You hear me?" I buried my face in my hands. "I can't sleep. When I do, I see them." I hear her voice saying I was never enough. He sat beside me, then fight back. "Don't let their betrayal be the last chapter of your story." I didn't answer. I couldn't. That night, I scribbled thoughts in a notebook about ending everything. The world felt smaller every day, like it was folding in on me. The next morning, the mail slid under my door. Among the bills was an envelope with my grandfather's handwriting. Impossible, since he'd been gone for months. My breath caught as I opened it. "To my grandson," it began. "If you're reading this, it means I'm gone. Life will try to break you, but I left you something to remind you of your worth. In my will, you'll find the key to what I built. It's yours now. Carry it forward." I stared at the letter, my hands shaking. For the first time in weeks, the fog lifted slightly. I whispered into the empty room, "Grandpa, why now?" No answer came, only silence, but it was different. Not crushing silence, but a pause filled with possibility. For the first time, I wondered if maybe my story wasn't finished yet. I sat in the lawyer's office, staring at the papers in front of me. "What exactly is this?" I asked, my voice hoarse. The lawyer adjusted his glasses. "Your grandfather left you land 20 acres outside the city and a sum of money in trust. He wanted you to use it, not squander it." "Land?" I blinked. "I didn't even know he owned any. He kept it quiet. He believed you'd find purpose in it when the time was right." I laughed bitterly. "And this is the time when I'm at my lowest." The lawyer's expression softened. "Sometimes, rock bottom is the only solid ground to build on." His words stuck with me. That night, I poured the last of the liquor down the sink. The smell burned, but I whispered, "No more." The next morning, my father called. "How are you holding Up. I stopped drinking, I said flatly. He was silent for a beat. That's a start. What changed? Grandpa left me land, money, something to work with. Then work with it, he urged. Honor him, honor yourself. I don't know where to start. Start by showing up, every day. That's enough. I drove to the property a week later. The land stretched wide, overgrown but full of possibility. Standing there, I felt something I hadn't in months. Hope. As I walked the boundary, a woman's voice called out, "You must be the grandson." I turned. A tall woman in a sharp blazer stepped closer, holding a folder. "Who are you?" I asked. "Lena," she said, shaking my hand firmly. "Your grandfather's business partner. He asked me to guide you if you ever inherited." "Guide me," I frowned. "I don't even know what I'm doing." "That's why I'm here," she said simply. "Your grandfather trusted me. Will you?" I hesitated. Trust doesn't come easy for me anymore. Her eyes softened. "Then, let's start with respect. You'll need it if you want to build anything." We walked the land together. She pointed out the soil quality, the potential for development, the existing small warehouse. "So what do I even do with this?" I asked. "Decide who you want to be," she said. "This land can be a business, a farm, a retreat, anything. But you need to choose." "I don't even trust myself to choose breakfast some days," I admitted. "Then let me help you learn," she said firmly. "One step at a time." Over coffee the next week, I confessed, I thought about ending everything. More than once, she looked me straight in the eye. "Then you're still here because some part of you refused. That part wants to fight. Feed it." Her bluntness stung, but it lit something in me. I started small. Early mornings, no alcohol. Long walks across the property. I scribbled notes, planned ideas. Lena met me twice a week, challenging every excuse I made. One morning she found me pacing. "I can't do this. It's too big." "You're not alone," she reminded me. "Your grandfather believed in you. I believe in you. Now believe in yourself." I clenched my fists. "What if I fail?" "Then fail forward," she said. "Failure teaches. Quitting kills." Her words echoed long after she left. Weeks turned into months. I cleaned the warehouse, repaired fences, cleared weeds. My body ached, but it was a good ache earned, not drowned in bottles. One afternoon my mother visited. She looked around, eyes wide. "You're different." "I'm trying," I admitted. She hugged me tightly. "Your grandfather would. Be proud." I swallowed hard, whispering, "I hope so." Later that evening, Lena walked with me across the land. The sun set behind her, painting the sky in gold. "You're not the broken man I first met," she said. "I still feel broken." "Sometimes," I confessed, "broken pieces can build stronger mosaics," she replied. I chuckled softly. "You always have a quote ready." "Occupational hazard," she teased. "But you're proving me right. You're rising." I looked at the horizon and, for the first time since my life shattered, believed her. I sat on the porch of the farmhouse, sipping black coffee, when my neighbor Paul stopped by. "You've heard the news, right?" he asked, leaning against the railing. I raised an eyebrow. "What news?" "Ethan and Clara. Things aren't going so well for them." I forced a casual tone. "Oh, money troubles," Paul said. "Word is, he lost his job. And she isn't exactly staying faithful." I stared into my cup. "Interesting," Paul smirked. "Guess karma doesn't miss." After he left, I sat quietly, the wind brushing across the fields. My phone buzzed my sister. "You won't believe this," she said immediately. "Try me. Clara called Mum yesterday, crying, said Ethan's drinking too much, and they're fighting all the time." A bitter laugh slipped out. "Sounds familiar." "She said she made a mistake," my sister continued. "She wanted to know if you'd talk to her." "Talk," I scoffed. "She stabbed me in the back and now wants sympathy." I told her no. I told her you're finally doing well and she doesn't get to ruin that. I closed my eyes. "Thanks." That night, Lena and I walked the land after checking the new greenhouse construction. "You're quiet," she said. "News travels fast," I muttered. "Ethan and Clara are falling apart." Her expression didn't change. "And how do you feel about that?" "I don't know," I admitted. "Part of me wants to laugh. Another part—" I trailed off. "Another part, what?" "Another part remembers how much it hurt, and maybe I don't want anyone to hurt like that, even them." She nodded slowly. "That's growth. Vengeance fades. Building something better lasts." I sighed. "I just can't shake the irony." "Then let it fuel you," she said firmly. "But don't let it consume you." A week later, I ran into Henry at the hardware store. He looked uneasy. "Oliver," he said carefully, "can we talk?" I set down the lumber in my cart. "About what?" "Clara. She's been calling me, too. Says Ethan gambles now. Says they're drowning in debt." I crossed my arms. "Why are you telling me?" "Because I think she might show up here, and you should be ready." I gritted my teeth. "If she comes, she'll find a locked door." Henry studied me. "You're not the same man anymore." "I can see it." I gave him a tight smile. "That's the point." Later that evening, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered, "Oliver." Clara's voice cracked. I froze. "What do you want?" "I just needed to hear you. Everything's falling apart. Ethan's not who I thought he was." I clenched the phone. "You think I didn't warn you? You chose him over me, I know," she whispered. "And I regret it every day." "You regret it now because the fantasy crumbled," I said coldly. "Not because of what you did to me." Silence, then a sob. "I just wanted you to know I'm sorry." "Sorry doesn't unbreak a heart," I muttered, hanging up. When I told Lena later, she studied me. "How do you feel?" "Empty," I admitted. "Like her apology means nothing." "Maybe it's not for you," Lena said. "Maybe it's her punishment to live with what she destroyed." I exhaled. Maybe. Weeks passed. The business group produce from the land sold well, and investors showed interest. Every day I worked, I felt stronger. Paul stopped by again. "Heard Ethan moved out," he said. "Clara's staying with her cousin. People are talking." "I don't care what people say," I replied. He chuckled. "You don't have to. Everyone can see you're doing better without them." That night, standing in the quiet field, I whispered to myself, the tables turned. Lena joined me, her hands in her pockets. "What did you say?" "Nothing. Just funny how life works." She smiled faintly. "Not funny, just fair." I looked at her, then back at the horizon. Maybe so. The wind carried the distant sound of crickets, and for the first time in years, I felt peace, not because they suffered, but because I had survived. The knock came just after sunset. I opened the door and froze. Clara stood there, hair tangled, eyes swollen, her hand resting on her stomach. "Oliver," she whispered, voice shaking. I swallowed hard. "What are you doing here?" She stepped forward, almost stumbling. "Please, can I come in?" I blocked the doorway. "Why?" Tears welled in her eyes. "Because I have nowhere else to go. Ethan, he's gone. He left me." I stared at her belly. "And you're pregnant again." Her lip trembled. "Yes, his child. And he didn't even stay." The anger rose fast, but I kept my voice level. "You expect me to feel sorry for you." I don't know what I expect," she said desperately. "Just help me, please. I can't do this alone." I stepped outside, pulling the door behind me. "You already made your choice, Clara. Remember." Her hands shook as she clutched her stomach. "I know what I did. I know I destroyed everything. But I swear, Oliver, I regret it every second." "Regret doesn't fix the knife you put in my back," I said coldly. She covered her face. "I was stupid, blind. I thought Ethan was better. I thought he could give me something you couldn't. And now?" I asked. She looked up, her eyes wet and broken. "Now I see you with a better man all along. I see what I lost. You built a life, Oliver. I can see it, and I'm here pathetic, begging for a chance to make it right." A bitter laugh escaped me. "Make it right, after everything? You think you can just walk back into my life?" Her voice cracked. "I still love you." My chest tightened, traitorous memories flickering our wedding day, her laughter, the nights we dreamed together. For a moment, I almost believed her. But then I remembered the lies, the betrayal, the way she chose Ethan over me. "No," I said firmly. "You loved what you thought was easier. You loved the illusion. And when it fell apart, you came crawling back," she sobbed, covering her mouth. "I'm carrying a child, Oliver. I don't want your love, just your mercy." I exhaled slowly. "I'm not heartless. I won't let a child suffer for your mistakes." Her eyes lit with fragile hope. "Then you'll help me." "I'll give you money," I said, my voice hardening. "Enough to get on your feet. But that's it. You don't get me. You don't get my home. You don't get my life." She reached for me, trembling. "Please, just let me stay for one night. I have nowhere to sleep." I stepped back. "No. If you stay, the past seeps in, and I'm done drowning in it." Her shoulders collapsed. "I deserve this. I know I do. But hearing you say it hurts more than I imagined." "You hurt me. Worse," I said quietly. She nodded, tears dripping down her cheeks. "I know, and I'll carry that forever." I went inside, grabbed an envelope from my desk, and returned. I placed it in her hand. "There's enough here to rent a place. Buy food, prepare for the baby," I told her. "But after tonight, you and I are finished." Her hand shook around the envelope. "You really don't want me anymore." The words cut, but I forced myself to answer. "I can't want what betrayed me. That man you chose destroyed us. And you let him." She broke down then, sobbing into her hands, her body trembling. For a moment, I almost reached out, but I stopped myself. "You should go," I said softly. She lifted her head, eyes red. "Goodbye, Oliver." I nodded once. "Goodbye." She turned and walked into the night, her figure swallowed by shadows. I leaned against the door once it shut, my hands shaking. Old love had stirred, but the wound was deeper, stronger. Later, Lena called to check on me. "You sound off," she said. Clara came by, I admitted silence on the line. Then, and she's pregnant. Ethan left. She begged me for help. What did you do? I gave her money, but not my heart, not my life. Lena's voice softened. That must have been hard. It was, I confessed. Harder than I thought. But I think it was the right choice. It was, she said firmly. You chose yourself this time. That's strength. I closed my eyes, exhaustion washing over me. Maybe, but it still feels like bleeding. Sometimes healing does, Lena replied gently. I sat in silence, listening to her steady breath, and for the first time, I realized I was free not because Clara left, but because I finally let her go. Asterisk, I stood at the edge of my land, the house glowing in the late sun. The air smelled of fresh soil and wood, proof of everything I rebuilt. For once, I felt still. Lena's voice called from behind me. You've been staring at that horizon for 20 minutes. What's on your mind? I smiled faintly. Everything, nothing, just how far I've come. She walked up beside me, her arms folded. You don't give yourself enough credit. You didn't just climb out of a hole, you built an empire out of ashes. Empire's a big word, I said. Not big enough, she countered. You turned pain into power. I've seen men collapse over less, but you stand taller. I let out a breath. Funny thing is, I used to think my strength came from her, from Clara, from having a family, and now, Lena asked, now, I know it comes from me, from surviving what I thought would kill me. She tilted her head. Do you still think about them? I hesitated. Sometimes Ethan's face when he admitted the truth. Clara's tears when she begged me to take her back. It flashes in my mind, but it doesn't burn anymore. It's just distant. That's how you know you've won, Lena said softly. I turned to her. Won. I don't know if betrayal has winners. You're standing on your land, running. Your business, living free. Ethan's buried in his own mess, and Clara's left with regret. If that's not victory, what is? I chuckled under my breath. Maybe peace, maybe both. She studied me for a moment. So what would you say to them if they stood here now? I looked back at the sunset, the fields stretching wide. To Ethan, I'd say nothing. Silence would hurt him more than words. To Clara, I'd thank her. Lena raised an eyebrow. Thank her. Yeah, I said quietly. For leaving me, because without losing her, I'd never have found myself. Her expression softened. That sounds like closure. It is, I admitted. For so long, I carried rage, grief, shame. But now I see it differently. What broke me also shaped me. I'm stronger because of it. She placed a hand on my shoulder. I'm proud of you, Oliver. I felt warmth spread through me. You helped me more than you know. When I was drowning, you showed me there was land to swim to. I didn't save you, she said gently. You saved yourself. I just reminded you you could. We stood in silence for a while, the sky painted orange and gold. I thought of the man I had been, weak, desperate, crushed under betrayal. He felt like a stranger now. Do you ever wonder if peace lasts? I asked. Lena smiled faintly. Peace isn't given, it's chosen, and I think you've chosen it. Her words settled deep in me. For the first time in years, I wasn't waiting for the other shoe to drop. I wasn't holding on to ghosts. Oliver, she said suddenly, her tone lighter, I have to ask, if someone told you a year ago that you'd end up here, living this life, would you have believed them? I laughed. Not a chance. A year ago, I thought my life was over. Now, it feels like it finally began. She nudged me with her elbow. Then don't waste it. Keep building. Keep choosing yourself. I nodded, my chest steady. I will. The last of the sun dipped low, shadows stretching long across the earth. I whispered under my breath, more to myself than to her, thank you for leaving me. Because without losing you, I never would have found me. Lena looked at me, curious. What did you say? Nothing, I said with a small smile. Just a promise to myself. She didn't press. She just stood beside me, sharing the quiet dot. As the sky deepened into twilight, I turned toward the house, my life, my proof. I wasn't the broken man I had been. I wasn't the betrayed husband defined by scars. I was Oliver, stronger, wiser, free, and for the first time, that was enough.